function. But yes, I'm in a treasury department. We've also, yeah, we've done some treasury management for protocols. I guess you can do it for a government.
Yeah, wow.
No, I mean, joking. Within governments, I don't know, but I guess as we've been, like immersing ourselves in the topic of like institutional design or like protocol institutions, etc. These types of like very basic, kind of boring functions that actually become, you start realizing how fundamental they are. So something as simple as redesigning taxes would be a really great goal.
Toby, what would you say on that?
Um,
What part of the apparat of the government you would think you would fill in, even if it doesn't exist?
um, in what is this called? Hold on. In the U.S., there's something called the United States Digital Service.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe that those are like software engineers who work for the government, designers who work for the government, like building things like the U.S. healthcare portal. Frankly, the NHS or like the UK government's version of this is much more competent than the US one, but US Digital Service sounds pretty cool. I believe we might be something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I like
Functionally speaking, we are actually great propagandists, but I don't want to say that would be our job because the government does a lot of repulsive things, and I don't think we would like to be there to be apologists for that.
I'm talking about like a government and an ideal scenario. I guess a governing body. Okay, got it. That's super clear. Then, how does back to like that financial side of things or energetic side of things? How does squad energy kind of like becomes squad wealth? What's the secret sauce there?
These are great questions.
Toby, you go.
Um, so squad energy is like the internal substance like that you are cooking up with the squad as you know add oil to whatever it is you're doing. But as the pot starts bubbling, steaming, shaking with squad energy, the steam begins to leak out. And other people start to smell, oh, that's cooking. Like that smells good. What it exudes, alchemically speaking, is squad vibes. So the squad vibes are detectable. Squad energy is detectable through the vibe. And when other people see that, they may want to be a part of it. They may want to bottle some of that for themselves. They may want to slurp up whatever delicious meal is being cooked, or they might want to bathe themselves in it, or whatever. Um, so the posture of the squad of at least speaking from our perspective, but I think other squads have this of just kind of being about our shit and like caring most about whatever about what we're cooking. That's a posture of confidence. It's like any charismatic person centered in themselves, like not exactly needing others, and that's what makes others like attracted to you. So from that position of like others wanting you is like where you can begin to financialize those vibes and by lending your squad charisma to protocols by virtue of like being associated with them or other projects or brands want to collab with you. You don't have to, once you have that reputation, you don't necessarily have to um, service other organizations or brands like as a client or agency. Like they want to partner with you and like put themselves on the same level, even if you're much smaller than them. So that's where like cultural capital exchange can happen. Of course, at Other Internet, we also built a reputation of like having capacity to do work, do a certain kind of analysis, do a certain kind of understanding protocols deeply, and like knowing how to redesign their governance functions. So it helps to have hard skills too. But any squad can pull this off.
Yeah, great. Let's say it is, okay, because you have this here, so I'm assuming this part of this is done. What is the other part if it's coming? What are you envisioning? Doesn't have to be for Other Internet, but what's your ideal scenario of how the group can be developing, not necessarily maybe like connected to how you like maintain wealth, let's say. Let's just forget about that. What's the ideal scenario in your head? Maybe Laura, you want to take that. What are you working now?
I can start. Well, yeah, I guess after this like very concentrated full-time stuff, a bit more structure phase, like Other Internet is kind of back to being a bit more like loose type of organization. So I guess me, Sam, and Toby have like our own specific interests that we're pursuing, but together we keep meeting in our weekly schemings. And more recently, I guess we're starting to we're thinking more about precisely after the book ends at the end of 2024, kind of strategically. Lots of things been happening this year. The huge political transitions, like institutional kind of collapse, basically on all fronts. And so I guess at the moment we're kind of like exploring a little bit the what is in this shift. What are also not just the challenges, because there's plenty of challenges and warnings, but also perhaps is what are the, I don't know, some, can't say advantages. There's not really that many advantages, but like in which ways things might also be changing, perhaps. The fact that institutions are kind of like breaking down, like the institutional system that we've been carrying on basically since the Westphalian. They're like the modern state is kind of being challenged on all fronts, and so we are seeing obviously from the right and left divisions don't seem to make that much sense even on their own. There are different ways of approaching technologies. There are different types of guys that are emerging, for which there is absolutely no container for the types of activities or research or initiatives and projects that people are thinking these days as a response to the present. So I guess I don't know. In a way, maybe long-winded answer to say that we are cooking something up again.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, Toby, what are you excited about building at this time? What are you looking at? What's your day to day, let's say, like curiosity leading to?
As I mentioned at the beginning, I started researching health and wellness communities and spiritual communities in much the same way that we were looking at token-based communities. Much like how we thought about token-based communities and blockchain networks, like in media theory terms, it's also important to look at the media that health and wellness groups and spiritual communities use. That media is there's also digital communication, but there's a kind of embodied medium of practice and like kinesthetic movements, practices, and protocols. So I've been looking at that a lot, and obviously I moved to California, so there's plenty of weird stuff going on here. I think I recently, for this book tour, like I made a trip to Berlin, and Sam and Laura and I hung out there and in Portugal, and it was extremely productive for me to translate into like other internet speak some of the things that I've experienced over the last year and a half since moving here and seen. Um, and I feel that I don't know where the group is going. But I do know that Sam and Laura and I are trying to figure out, um, yeah, how the stuff each of us has been looking at and thinking about, like, sits in the current cultural moment, which is basically what we do and what we're fucking great at. So
Yeah.
we're not stopping, fortunately for you all. But we don't know exactly what it looks like yet, and we're not convinced at this point in time that like an essay is really the right medium for the thoughts that we're having now. The thoughts we're having now are a little bit too big in scope for like a single text. So
Yeah. Okay. Maybe a series of conversations recorded would be something I'd like to see personally. Maybe a series of newsletters or research directions, even if it's in a raw form, like links.
research
Anyway,
directions. Can you say more about what that
yeah,
would look like?
like
That sounds promising.
if you had a call and it was focused about, for example, yoga centers and meditations, like locations, physical locations within different cities, and what they had in common, how they were operated, how like the facilitators are being chosen, what are the types of facilitators are there. I mean, maybe I'm just giving an example of what I would be interested in
Mm.
seeing. So if you're kind of diving deep into a certain direction and you can share transparently your state of research on it, even if it's just raw, without you actually analyzing it, and you're inviting the public to maybe like also dive
Mm.
into that and then maybe give you some thoughts and directions for analysis and outcomes further. It can be also like group calls or community calls where there will be a presentation of a certain research topic and then there will be like a roundtable discussion on that.